I would like to talk about body shaming. And body shaming is where somebody humiliates you because of your physical appearance. At times, we do not choose, not even at times, we do not choose of how to look like. If you're given a chance to explain to your mommy and daddy, you'd have told them, please press this there and this or there. I want my mom's eyes, I want my father's brain, I want my mom's look and all that, would have explained that and would have been able to select. Unfortunately, that chance is not given to us. That is why don't make somebody's life difficult by making them feel bad about their looks, by making them feel like they should have been too dark or they should have been too bright skinned or they look yellow. Sometimes people are called yellow. They also called rangi ya dhao. Hizo majina zote, they are there. And they're good names at times, depending on where you're saying them. But again, also, to some people, that could be very humiliating for them. I did not choose how to look like, we did not choose, but we were given that look by our maker. So body shaming involves making inappropriate, some negative comment of how an individual look like. This can be based on our body shapes. Most of the time we make this comment basing people on their body shape. Maybe I'm too skinny, I'm too fat, I am too slender for you, all that when it's come to our body weight. Others may make those comments basing it on your skin compression, as I had talked about. They also make that comment basing on our hair. There are those people who tells you you don't have hair in your head, which at times I'm aware. I'm aware my hair is so scattered, but keep reminding me, making me feel very bad, even though I do not talk about it. Others is like you tell somebody they look very aged or they look too old. Although some may also feel uncomfortable if they are told they look too young. For example, for men. For ladies, they don't mind if you tell them they look a bit young. Then this part of it, it can also be ridiculing someone on a specific body part. For example, commenting that my ears are too big or too small or too tiny. This one may not be very, very nice. At times, we also do body shaming basing on people's behavior and choices. For example, maybe every time we go for an outing, they're that kind of food I eat. There is those food that I eat, and maybe if I eat too much food, you keep commenting that I'm overeating. Others may be based on the grooming, how I groom myself. There are those grooming that some people may keep telling you that you're dressed like an old grandma, yet maybe that was my best for today. Or you comment on somebody's dressing and you're like, those ones are supposed to be dressed by a teenagers, not your age. Oh, please, don't do that. It's not nice for us. Then the makeup. We have seen many people going on the podium and they're doing a presentation and maybe they have done over excess makeup or their makeups are less or maybe the lipstick have done it and I've overdone it and it's not coordinating even with what I've dressed up. So all this makes us feel that we are being humiliated and those comments that you make on people, at times you need to ask yourself, what if somebody makes such a comment to me? For example, when it's come to body weight, there are those people who tells you you're so skinny. Sometimes you don't know how I've been struggling with this eating. You don't know how many plates of food I eat every night to make sure that you don't tell me I'm skinny or people not comment that I'm skinny. At times also we tell people they are too big. You look so big. You look like a pig. You look like a potato. You look like a what? Such comment may humiliate somebody, even if they have not told you. It may make them feel very, very much embarrassed. How do the body shaming, how is it done? In most cases, people make some remarks when you're in the midst of a group, and those remarks don't augur very well. And at times, even voices or even how I behave, you just make a remark that makes me feel so embarrassed before people. Sometimes you may be making the remark not knowingly but unconsciously. For example, Aki, you're too fat. And we are there. And then everybody is like, yeah, by the way, you need to work on your weight. Sometimes You don't need to keep reminding me that. Maybe I've been doing too much exercise and it doesn't work out. What do I do? Do I be tiring? No. Do I kill myself? No. You just have to learn to cope with that and learn to understand that. Sometimes also people start advising you and somebody sits with you and the next minute they're telling you, you should be avoiding some of this food like chips. You should be looking for a very healthy lifestyle. Who told you I'm not doing that? I may be doing that. And you see with weight, it doesn't come automatic. I may have been doing practice for the last 3-4 months, but up to date, you can't even get it that I'm doing some of this exercise. Or I may have been engaging on exercise, I am losing some fat, but not the whole body that you'd expect me. So sometimes we do not ask for those advice, but people just voluntarily give them. If somebody asks, give them. But if they have not asked, maybe who told you that their weight is a problem, or whichever way they are uncomfortable. Sometimes when they become uncomfortable, they'll do something about it. Then we have online harassment. This is where people harass you by making some very negative comment on your social media. It's not nice. It's not beautiful. Sometimes you have seen people really getting depressed because of those social media comments. If you don't like my video, leave it. If you don't like my looks, it's okay and it is very normal. If everybody likes me, then that will be a problem. And if you have some people who likes you and others don't like you, this means you're a very normal human being and very sober. So we do not expect people to love us all. We do not expect people to appreciate what you do, all of them. There are those who will appreciate, there are those who will be feeling that you are a bother. So that one is very normal, very normal. And you find at times we ask ourselves, how do we address the body shaming? Do you love yourself? Self-love. You need to really appreciate. At times you may not be the right size that you would like to be. At times you may be very big, you may be very small, you may be very tall, you may be very short. Some of these things we cannot work them out. For example, there's nothing I can do to be tall. I can only put on high-heeled shoes. So if I do not manage to put them on, or I am not comfortable with them, allow me to walk in my flat and let me remain short. If I am too tall, then you may find that most of the tall people prefer putting on flat shoes, and sometimes they prefer even the high shoes, and they still look very good. So what do we say about this? Appreciate who you are. We need the tall person, we need the shorter person, we need the big person, and we need the slender person. Why? All of us have different body tastes. For example, there is a man who would like 1 GBs. Another one would prefer the big mamas, the big ladies. There are those ones who would prefer people who are extremely big on some body parts and others are slender and all that. And there are those ladies who prefer very huge men. And there are those ones who prefer the slender men. There are those ones who prefer, they're in between slender and big. They prefer to be there. All these are our body tastes, and this tells you that what you feel is bad for me. One's man poison is another man's meat. So whatever you feel is bad with me, to somebody else it may be something that they really embrace. So don't criticize the other body parts of the other person, because to you it may be bad, to another person it may be the wow thing about the lady or about the man. Another thing you need to do is that love yourself, treat yourself well. Being big doesn't mean I hate myself. Being big is only means that my body genes may be that type. And when it comes to genetic makeup, sometimes you cannot change. If in our family all of us are huge, we cannot change that. If all of us were slender, we cannot change that. If all of us were medium sized, we can also not change that. Genes are inborn. But we have those ones that we find, if my lifestyle, if in my life I am relaxed, I may become big, even if our body, where I come from, we are not big. And that relaxation that brings that weight, we may not do something about it, but you can learn how to balance the two. Number three, be mindful of the words you tell other people. Don't tell people words that are so hurting. Tell people words that are consoling, and just ask yourself, if somebody else told me that statement, how would I pick it? How would it happen to me? So you need to be very cautious on what you say to the other person, and especially when you want to criticize how they look or their body shape. When you talk about self-love, people may call you potato, maybe because you're big, or call you biggie, or call you a pig and all that. In such situation, look for another fruit that is so appealing to you and that looks good for you. And every time somebody calls you a potato, refer yourself maybe to an apple or something that you feel is better for you. It may be big fruit, yes, but it looks good and appetizing, and you can prefer yourself to that. Another thing, be friends with food. It is not the food which is the problem. It may be the other people who feel they want to make comment. Number two, it may also be the portion of the food that you eat, or it may also be the type of the food that you eat. Just need to check a retro on what you need to do away with and what you need to maintain in your diet. And this one may work for you. And you also need to make sure that it has come from within you. You have not been forced by people. Another thing is that set very clear boundary between you and other people. Set a very clear boundary. The people who makes you feel very bad about yourself, you need to make sure that you set a big boundary with them. And this one will help you to really live with people who are comfortable with you. People who are comfortable with the way you look and the way you do your things, they are the best people to embrace in life. What are the effects of body shaming? The effects of body shaming, one, it can lead to eating disorder. For example, an adolescent, you keep abusing them, telling them how big they are or how slender they are, or telling them to do some weird things because their boobs have not developed and you want them to develop. You need to be aware that you may lead that person to eating disorders, either eating too much to cope with the pressure, or eating to rest, or even eating and vomiting. We call it binge eating, whereby I eat and then I force myself to vomit. Why? Because I feel like I want to lose the excess weight. And you find some of these people may also go through anorexia. Anorexia is an eating disorder where I avoid eating, or I get fear when it comes to eating food because I feel I may turn out to be very, very big. So every time I look also myself in the mirror, I look at myself and then I keep telling myself, I need to do away with this part. I need to do away with this other fat is there. Or this part, there is a lot of fat. And this one is why I may find myself having the eating disorders, because people have really talk a lot about my weight, talk a lot about all this. It may also lead to a dysphoria, body dysphoria disorder, whereby you feel there is that perfect body shape. For example, there is that image in your mind of a perfect body shape, and you're keeping to work towards that perfect body shape, whereby you're looking at that perfect body shape and you feel I have to work over exercise myself or work for this specific perfect body shape. And this perfect body shape, you find yourself that you are overworking yourself because there is what you want the world to know, how you look, how you are, and all that. And this perfect body shape, you may never receive it. So what happens? You get low self-esteem and you feel bad about yourself. Then there is also excessive exercise. Some people may do too much exercise and they may not be very nice for yourself. They may lead to illness, they may lead to depression and many other things. And with this excessive exercise is that every time I'm looking at what have I added, what have I lost and all that, and they may keep doing all this persistent, and it may also become a disorder. For example, you get that compulsiveness of exercise, that every time you have to put yourself on a lot of tension that I have to do exercise. No, life should be something very simple. It should be something that I do because I want to do, not because the situation is forcing me to do. It should be something I feel I am enjoying even when I'm doing it. It's part of my fun activity. Another thing, it can lead to depression and anxiety. Every time you guys comment about our body shapes, making people feel bad, they may go to depression and anxiety. That is, when the person wants to stand before the people, the flooding of all what people have said about their body shape, the flooding of all the negative statement people have said, they start experiencing it. Or they may even have some tension when they're standing before people because they keep asking, what are the other people watching? What are the other people saying in me? And what are the other people saying about me? All this may bring a lot of depression to the person. To the perpetrators who are very good in body shaming, do you want to tell us you're perfect? Do you want to tell us that you love everything about you? Do you want also to tell us there's nothing that you feel, oh God, given a chance, I would like you to change this? Maybe your nose to be reduced or to be increased in size, or your ribs to be bigger or small. Do you want to say that? Not exactly. Every person have a part of their body they feel, given a chance, God, we would like to have a sitting and you change for me this and you give me this. But you realize we normally feel the fault of other people. What I would tell you is that there is a real implication. Avoid commenting negatively about people's body shape and all that. Avoid also looking at the things that are not perfect in people, because we are in the world of imperfection and will never be perfect. And as I've said, whatever is bad for you to another person may be the wow thing in them. So what you feel that this person does not have, what you feel that this person is not able to have, or it doesn't look good to another person, it may be the wow thing for them, and maybe that is what works for them. So what I would tell you, to the person who is feeling so bad about the body shaming, don't feel very bad. We have a reason why we look the way we look, and everything that we have has a reason. So embrace who you are, appreciate who you are. You look good, you look awesome, you look handsome, you look beautiful. So appreciate who you are and embrace yourself and tell yourself something nice. Actually, give yourself a hug and don't feel bad about yourself. Actually, when you relax and you love yourself, even when you decide to do exercise, you'll do them with a lot of ease. You'll not be having situations with it, and you'll do it because you want it. But the moment you keep pressing yourself because guys are talking about it, it becomes a very serious problem. Thank you very much for listening to me. Springs of Mental Wellness, your mental health, our priority. Thank you.